Who should actually buy the MSI WS66 10TKT 080? Who should walk away? And does the price make sense for a regular day-to-day user? If you're still on the fence, the big question is whether the workstation-grade hardware translates into real productivity for you, or if you're just paying for a badge. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first saw the headline specs an i7-10875H, 32GB of RAM, a Quadro RTX 3000 and a 1TB SSD, I imagined the kind of workflow that would actually need that muscle, multi-threaded rendering, large 3D assemblies, and the occasional CUD accelerated simulation. But the reality of using a 15.6-inch laptop with a 60Hz touchscreen for those tasks is a bit more nuanced. The WS66 isn't a gaming laptop in the traditional sense, even though MSI markets it under the gaming PC umbrella. It's a mobile workstation that tries to blend a pro-grade GPU with a consumer-style form factor, and that blend creates both hidden strengths and some surprising trade-offs. Let's start with who will get the most out of this machine. If you're a CAD designer or a video editor who regularly works with complex 3D models, the Quadro RTX 3000 is a genuine asset. Unlike a GE Force card, the Quadro driver stack is certified for a range of professional applications. Think SolidWorks, Autodesk Maya, or Adobe Premiere Pro with GPU-accelerated effects. In practice, that means you can open a 500-megapixel architectural model, rotate it in real time, and start rendering without the dreaded out-of-memory warnings that would cripple a consumer-grade GPU. The 32GB of DDR4 memory further cushions those workloads, allowing you to keep multiple heavy applications open side by side. For a freelancer who needs to move between drafting, simulation, and client presentations in a single day, that kind of headroom is a real productivity booster. The same configuration also benefits data scientists who run TensorFlow or PyTorch notebooks on a laptop. The RTX 3000's tensor cores, though not as beefy as the higher-end RTX 3080, still accelerate matrix operations, shaving minutes off training cycles that would otherwise be done on a CPU. If you're the sort of professional who prefers to avoid a desktop workstation for the sake of mobility, perhaps you travel between client sites or work from coffee shops, the WS66 gives you a legitimate reason to skip a bulky tower. Now, who should skip it? If you're a typical office worker whose daily tasks revolve around email, spreadsheets, and occasional web browsing, the WS66 is wildly overspec'd. The 60Hz display is adequate for office work, but you'll never notice the difference compared to a 120Hz gaming panel, and the 72% NTSC color gamut, while decent, falls short of the 100% sRGB coverage that graphic designers look for. For anyone whose primary need is a smooth visual experience like video gamers or streamers, the Quadro GPU offers no real advantage and can even be a hindrance because drivers aren't optimized for the latest AAA titles. You'll end up with lower frame rates and more driver updates to manage. There's also a hidden cost in the form of battery life. A 10875H CPU paired with a 3000 class GPU drains the battery faster than any ultrabook you've probably used. In real-world tests, you'll get around 4 to 5 hours of mixed usage before hunting for a power outlet, which is fine in a co-working space but frustrating on a long flight. The laptop does ship with a 1TB NVMe SSD, so you won't be fighting for storage space, but you'll quickly learn that the SSD's speed is limited by the laptop's internal thermal design. Under sustained load, say, rendering a 4K video, thermal throttling can kick in after 10 to 15 minutes, causing the CPU and GPU clocks to dip noticeably. It's not a catastrophic failure, but it does mean you won't sustain peak performance for the length of a full-day render. Another practical consideration is the keyboard and touchpad. The WS66 sports a white backlit keyboard with 84 keys, which feels sleek, but the key travel is shallow. If you type long documents or code for hours, you may find the feel less satisfying than a full-size mechanical layout. The glass touchpad is smooth and includes a fingerprint sensor, but the glass surface can become slippery when you're wearing gloves or have a sweaty palm, forcing you back to the track point or an external mouse, something many professionals already carry anyway. From a connectivity standpoint, the inclusion of Wi-Fi 6 and an Intel i225V Ethernet controller means you have fast, reliable network options both on-site and in the field. The 720p webcam is serviceable for Zoom meetings, though the image isn't as crisp as a dedicated external webcam. If you need a higher quality video presence, you'll likely add a USB cam anyway. So where does the value actually sit? The headline price of a mobile workstation like this is usually in the $200 to $500 $3,000 range. If you break down the cost per component, you're paying a premium for the Quadro certification, the 32 GB of RAM, and the robust chassis that can accommodate a professional-grade GPU. For someone who can actually leverage those professional drivers and needs the extra memory,